Hello, everybody, and welcome to the VideoAsk Podcast. Today, we have a very interesting guest. I'm your host, Alex Antolino, Creative Director at Typeform, and I currently run the VideoAsk brand. VideoAsk is Typeform's latest product, which allows you to ask questions online through video, so make your business interactions more personal. And in this podcast, we talk about ways in which you can make your business more personal using video and creative ways to innovate using video and technology. So today, VideoAsk brings you a very special guest. She's a media entrepreneur and she's been a reporter for more than 10 years. She talks about faith and the African American experience. She's got actually great recognition in very different film festivals. And she's developed the idea of immersive journaling. And we'll explain what it is in a minute. And she's recording her life daily with smart glasses. I mean, how cool is that? I'm actually really excited to get to hear about her story a little bit. She's also working on a film. So she's putting all the content she's recorded in a film called the 2020 Life film, coming out next year. And the guest that I'm talking about is L.Michelle Salvant. And she's the CEO at L.Michelle Media and director of the 2020 Life film that I was talking about. So hello, Michelle. How are you doing today?
Alex, I'm doing great. It's great to see you. Great to be here. Thanks for the intro. I need to record that and just play it back to remind us what we're doing. So I appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Michelle. I'm super excited to have you here. Really passionate about your story. And there's a burning question that I need to ask you, and because I want all our listeners to understand what motivates you to record every single day of your life.
Wow, that is a loaded question, but it's a great question to ask because I really, to be quite honest, and this is not to just sound so super deep, but I have come to realize that every day is a gift, that every day, no matter how similar it seems to a previous day, every day is different. So it's just my approach to life, really, and wanting to embrace life for what it is instead of just being really passive and just not considering just how precious life is. So I record every day because I look forward to something happening every day, learning something new every day. So it just helps motivate me and keep me reminded that every day really is a gift. So
I love that. I love it. It's a way of capturing things that happen to you in every new thing that happens to you every single day. That's really cool. Okay, right. So I made a little bit of an intro to yourself, but I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself and tell us what it is that you do.
Well, I've been in media since the late 90s. I have always been fascinated with stories, particularly stories, profiles, like personal stories. So documentaries, I've always been interested in that. So in the early part of the 2000s, I worked in the news business as an anchor reporter, and then went on after that to really start working heavily in the faith community the Christian faith community, because I felt a tremendous call to do that, which I knew for me had to be a call because I was just on the path of just really wanting to be a foreign correspondent, but felt a greater purpose in the type of storytelling that I was going to do. And from that point, doing more faith-based type storytelling, the business came out of that, L.Michelle Media, and just at the time and still to date, helping ministry leaders, churches, people who have life-inspiring content, find ways to reach people online. We started with trying to find ways to build a website without having to pay so much and be able to maintain it and show our clients how to do that. all the way up until really becoming more content creators and training and consulting and coaching people how to do that. The
Nice.
filmmaking just comes out of my love for story, and particularly stories that are often hard to tell because they run so deep. So
Okay.
yeah,
Let's go a little bit into that. Like, what kind of stories do you like to tell?
I call them soul stories, stories that of course, my genre is stories of faith and the African American experience, but within that, the things that shape a person, make a person, the inward things, the parts of their story that maybe you would never know, that can sometimes be hard to tell. I have found that in this particular journal, we deal a lot with trauma and trauma that's experienced early on and the later effects that you may not recognize. And so we kind of like to go behind the scenes, and see some things with the person telling that story that you couldn't see just by looking at them.
Yeah. And I like how you say that you're into documentary. You've done documentary. Also, you've been a reporter for many years. And I have a film background also, for those of you watching. I can relate a lot with that, like this idea of the documentary and like shooting, the reality, and like having to manage this footage and tell a story that is also ethical
Right.
in terms of like what you're portraying, right? And most of the time, and this is just my experience, let me know if you also experience it this way, but most of the time you start the documentary thinking you're gonna make a story, and then very soon you realize that the footage you're getting is actually telling, bringing you in a new direction. So I wonder
Right.
if this kind of content that you are doing now is something that was, like designed like that, like thought like that, or something you encountered while you were shooting.
You're absolutely right. It just kind of evolved, especially with the immersive journaling, not to be confused with immersive journalism, but with the
Okay.
immersive, with the immersive journaling, my initial intent was to record the 40th year of my life. I'm like, 40, it's a milestone. Let me record it. But as you said, as you start to look at the footage and the footage starts to come more into view, you really begin to see what the story really is. And so I found out that it was going to be a much deeper experience, more like a soul healing experience
Okay.
that we have just continued.
Wow. So then I wonder, so you've been recording for like what, a year now or something like that?
Since December 2018.
Sorry, I think we're cutting you. You were cutting off a little bit. Um, yeah. So I
Yes.
was wondering, you've been recording for like a year and a half now, more or less.
Yes, I've been recording since December of 2018.
Okay, so before we move forward, to all of you guys watching, Michelle, can you explain what is it like that you do, like the immersive journaling, what it is?
So back in 2014, with the Google Glass technology, we released the first in a series of films, in a series of life films. So we started with the life film, where I just said I'm going to record my life for a year, and the second part of that year was recorded with Google Glass. It was recorded with Google Glass, and so there was an amazing freedom in recording something hands free, and an authenticity or an
Mm-hmm.
originality, like this just amazing connection between what was happening in real time and what went on screen when it was hands free. Because essentially all you had to do was tap your glasses and the moment was being captured. And so
Mm-hmm.
after that, I kind of put the glasses down for a while, and enter 2018, November of 2018, when I really got wind of Snapchat spectacles. And I remember they went on sale for Black Friday. And I just could not believe, compared to the price point with Google Glass, how affordable and what they could do. So I purchased the glasses in with a similar mission from 2014 to record my life for a year, which I was turning 40 in 2019. And the journey just kind of started there. So immersive journaling is essential to me, essentially the recording of life, hands-free.
Okay, I love that.
So that you can be as close to the moment as possible.
Okay, so it's basically you recording every day with the glasses that you're actually wearing right now. You're actually recording every single day bits of your life with the actual. Is it with the glasses that you're actually wearing right now?
These were my signature, the very first pair that I bought in November of 2018. Nice. So they're kind of like the Michael Jackson glove, the one that you just won't put down. But for the most part, I record with these. And I have another pair that I'll start recording with in about a month or so. But yes, every part of life, as I feel led, you just kind of hit the glasses and begin to capture the moment.
Oh, wow. So you're recording right now.
Yes. So I recorded a little bit earlier. To be honest, these are, after a while, I had to switch the glasses just because we were putting them through a lot more work than what I think was anticipated. I think we were the first to use the glasses in this sort of way, in this concentrated type of way. And so for the most part, when I put these on now, I begin to record. But there's a delay in time. So we're waiting on our new ones, which will also have prescription lenses, so we can get closer to the moment. Because just in that moment of putting on these glasses, we lost a little bit of that authenticity just because we had to, switch our device up. And so that's what I tell people, and they're like, well, I could just do it with my phone. And you can, but it'll be a slight delay in the moment that you're capturing.
Okay, I get it. And I have to ask you this question, and probably you guys watching, you're wondering the same question too. So Michelle, what happens when you actually hit that record button? How do people react? Like, do people feel uncomfortable? Do people ask you? Like, do you ask for permission? What happens in terms of relationships with the people you are within the same space with?
Well, I did learn a lot of lessons from doing the first live film with Google Glass. Before, I was recording everything, and I became this big advocate of, this is a public space. You can't prevent me from recording you in this space. But then with the new glasses, it's such an inside job. It's more of a look at life and what I can do to be better and to have kind of like inner healing. So for the most part, I'm recording life interactions that I'm involved in and asking more so if someone's in it, do you mind being in it? Or blurring them out in the case of the film when it comes out if they didn't necessarily feel comfortable. But for the most part, a good rule of thumb, even though you can do it, it is good to ask and really kind of let everyone know. We had our trailer produced in partnership with Snapchat, and everyone who appeared there had to be a release signed. So contrary to what you might believe or what people may fear of smart glasses, when it is used for purposes like this, you still have to follow all of the right protocol as you would with normal filmmaking.
Okay. And so you're then asking for permission to the people who are being who are being edited on the film.
Right.
Okay. And what happens with all? Sorry, go ahead.
In many cases, you're recording your own life. So.
Got you. Okay. I think I don't know about you guys watching. Have you ever heard about this idea before? Like, if you've heard about the immersive journaling, or just let us know in the comments. I actually really like it, and probably Michelle would love to hear also about like, have you ever heard about this before? And also, do you even do journaling yourself? Do you capture your thoughts on a regular basis, maybe every day, or before going to sleep or something like that? I know I did it for a year. So I know when I was 16, Yeah, when I was 15, I was like, I was like I was a teenager. I was like, this year is gonna be fun. And I was definitely right. It was a very fun year. And I captured everything on a blue notebook. The thing is that I lost it. So it's such a shame. I don't know if I ever will find it again or something. But I had like, my first kind of like love and this kind of thing. It was amazing. Like every day I forced myself
Wow.
for 1 year to write it down, and I just fucking lost it. That's such a shame.
Well,
I
I,
know.
I, but you see though, even look at how you light up thinking about that in those
Yes.
moments that were captured. That with all the content coming in now, that we're just kind of consuming, it is at times very difficult to focus on just life
Yeah.
itself, and what life may be trying to teach you, and just focus on the present. You'll find more positivity in the present than you may think. You'll find life lessons. You'll find uh, really life. I found in recording all this time that anything I need the answer to is pretty much right within my reach. But most
Mm.
of the times, there's so much noise that you can't hear it. So,
Guys, pure wisdom here from Michelle.
mhm.
Everything I need to know is right in my reach. I love that. I love that
It's in
sentence. I
your
really
reach.
like that sentence. It's funny
Yeah.
how we're trying to like be present because we're like with so much tech and all these things. We're trying to like find ways to actually be present on the moment, right? And I like how you use tech to actually
Hmm.
do that. By creating media. And I wonder, like, okay, so let me recap for a second. So you record
Yes.
every day, you do these clips every day, and then what do you do? What do you do with like the content? Like, are you sharing this somewhere? Are you compiling all of this somewhere in any way?
That's a great question. So when I first started, the glasses are connected to Snapchat's ecosystem, their content kind of management system. And so immediately you're able to use your mobile device and go into the Snapchat app and just have the clips that you've recorded download into your memories, where you can decide what you want to do, whether you want to export them, whether you want to snap them, whatever you want to do. When I initially started recording, I was still in what I like to call the social media posting rat race. Like, oh, let me put this clip up from my life. But I wasn't giving myself any time to breathe, any time
Mm-hmm.
to reflect. And so it began to just be yet another tool where I was being consumed by it instead of actually receiving any type of healing or any type of divine insight into my life. And so I would say halfway through recording in 2019, I just said, I'm not recording to post. Like, I'm going to stop recording just to post, to
Mm-hmm.
see how you're going to react, to see if it's going to get shared. How about I post for me? I not post for me. How about I record for me? So I started recording for me. I was like, this whole social media game is all about what you put out. How about I take something in for a change? So I began to take in that footage, and it just began to unlock some things about my behavior, about little things like who smiles when I come in their presence. My mom. Every
Mm-hmm.
time I come in, without her even knowing, almost on cue, she's so genuinely happy to see me. But who also could I be, maybe might be among the first for me to say I have to go or to rush to get to the next big thing I'm doing? That same mom.
That's
So I
cool.
had to kind of make some adjustments. The same person who welcomes you, you rush. But the people who just greet you normally, you try to make all the time in the world for. So I just had to check some things. Those were just some of that's one of the hundreds of lessons that looking at the footage really showed me.
I like that. So it not only allows you to be more present on the moment by the fact that like you're recording, but also it allows you to like be an spectator to your own life and actually,
Right.
take your own conclusions, without, I would say maybe like without being, taken over by the emotions. Like when you know, maybe like I imagine if I would do this myself, sometimes we react based on our emotions in that specific moment, but like if we leave some
Yeah.
time, we're able to see things in a different perspective. And yeah, I love that. That's actually really interesting.
Right.
Okay, so we've talked about
And
what
you
is
will
immersive.
also see everything you missed.
Sorry?
Mm-hmm. I said, and then you will also see the many things that you missed along the
Oh
way.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's actually that's a good one also, because then sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we react based on our interpretations on one specific moment, but maybe the reality was like slightly different or something. This has happened to me before, like all the misunderstandings and things like that. Well, now I record it, and you cannot say I didn't say that because it's actually recorded. That's a funny one.
That's
um,
it.
Did you actually, let me get a little bit like into like the details here. Like, did you get any time that that footage or that recording kind of like got throw into you or something, like you like push back on you or like hit back on you or something, like yeah, like you're like you got some conflict out of it? I'm just curious here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're asking, did any of the recordings kind of like shock me or
Yes, kind of.
make
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. The one that changed the whole course of the film was a particular clip in December 2018. So it doesn't take long to kind of try to for life to start speaking to you. I'll say that. And so I
Okay.
watched the clip from my son and his face, and he had fear, the look of fear on his face whenever I was in his presence at certain periods of time. Not all the time, but specifically during times where I would be rushing or anything like that. And it was not a respect fear, it was a genuine fear that there was going to be harm brought to him in some way because of the pressure that I was under. And what I realized was I came from an abusive background. And so even though I know uh, I'm very conditioned not to act out in abuse, I still had underlying control things that were still in operation that
Oh wow.
were abusive without using physical force.
Mm-hmm.
No one could have ever told me that because I'm too strong. I have too much what they call snapback. Like I just am going to come right back at you. But when I saw his face and I realized that's the same face I used to make at that same age,
Oh shit.
I
Okay.
said, how is this here? And I'm not in the same place. It's not the same people. It's not, everything's different. And I realized that how much of a cycle abuse is and how you could be carrying it without acting out in it and kind of repeating the cycle. So I
Wow.
spent much of 2019 trying to change because then I could feel when it was rising up. Anytime I got under pressure, anytime I was rushing, he was the recipient of all the frustration.
Wow. Wow.
I'll tell you
That's.
one story. One clip I saw. I saw that I point my finger in his face all the time. You need to. And I asked my husband, I said, do you point at him? He said, I point at things, not people.
Mm,
He said, when you point at people, you direct all the negative energy to the person. He said, I point
wow.
at things, I don't point at people. So,
That's
but no
deep.
one, without recording hands free, I wouldn't have seen that. But
Mm,
yeah.
wow. You guys, you see how deep this gets. That's actually, I love this. I love how you're like really taking something good out of this. And it's actually kind of like driving some change in your life. So I wonder if people watching here now, if they're interested in like trying, just trying for a week, maybe doing some immersive journaling, how it works for them. Maybe they got interested based on what you said. And they want to try, but they don't want to commit to buying like the Snapchat glasses. We know they're a bit pricey. So is there any way that if someone wants to get started, they can get started without having to make any investment?
Well, I would say the closest thing to the moment would be what you can do hands-free, but also you can download, like if you go to our website, 2020 Life Film, the goal is to put more resources for you to be able to begin to think about your life film. I believe everyone has a life film, right? So life wants to speak to everyone and, show you the film of what you got going on. So, but there are apps like the Journey app, which we like, which you could easily capture a picture and write about the moment. It's digital. Getting a normal journal and just starting to write and journal. And you might say, well, that's not tech driven, but it's the principle behind wanting to capture a part of your life each day that will get you into the mindset of how much more powerful, how much more connected you can be to the moment by making a purchase like a smart glass purchase to enhance your or really begin your immersive journaling experience. So I would just say, basically, even if you use the Journey app, that's a digital way to do it and to just kind of reflect back. But it's nothing like hands-free and being right in that moment to observe your body language, to really capture what's going on as close as you can to it happening, and going back and seeing that and being able to reflect and then make a decision if you're going to adjust or not. Every time I feel the control or something negative rising and I think of my son's face, I have to make a quality decision. Have I always made the right choice, even since seeing the footage? No, but now the power is in the fact that I'm aware. Before I wasn't even aware. So.
Nice. It's like, I know we've talked about this before. I don't want to put you in the spotlight, but it really reminds me of that Netflix episode. I don't know if you got the chance to watch it, the Black Mirror episode.
I did. I watched it.
Oh, yeah, you did? That's awesome. Okay, because I was like, I know we talked before on our previous calls about this, and you didn't have the chance to watch it. But okay, so how did you feel when you watched that episode? Because it really... So for you guys, if you haven't watched it, there's a Black Mirror episode on Netflix, which is basically what Michelle is describing that she's doing, but they do it through like some cheap or contact lenses. I don't remember how is it, but they have it in their brain so they can rewatch sequences of their life, basically. So, okay, now, so that's interesting. So now you watch the episode, and what do you think? How did you feel when you watched it?
It was eerily reminiscent of my experience, but it was also, there was a lesson in that if you obsess over it versus adjust, it could be very negative, a very toxic experience.
Right.
So it really gave me, some more insight, even as I'm coaching people along in immersive journaling their lives, to help them not to obsess over things that could lead to negative outcomes.
Right.
For instance, on my glasses from this year, which I haven't gone through this year's footage yet, every 6 months, I'll take time out to go through. But I have my first reaction to the murder of George Floyd. Now, when I was recording, I thought I was just going to see, unfortunately, what has become a lot like the norm with African Americans and police in the United States. Bad interactions in cases, okay? But I did not know that I was going to witness someone dying really on TV. And so I have my reaction to that. Now, just think if you just continue to play that clip over and over, it could be a little hard to move forward. But we do have to see it and see the things we miss and process our feelings and get beyond them in the healthiest way possible. So I love the episode of Black Mirror, season 1, episode 3, is the episode. I loved it because it was true how he just went back and he could see things in that moment, even
Yeah,
down
yeah,
to
yeah.
a really intense moment where he saw the picture and he's like, wow, look at that. There's the picture in our room, but it shows you
Was
everything
that
we
a
missed.
spoiler, Michelle?
Yeah, yeah.
Oops.
I didn't say what the picture was for or when it would
Oh,
appear,
you
but I
guys
just
gotta
said,
watch it. Let us know in the comments below. Have you watched the episode that we're talking about?
yes. Oh my
And do
goodness.
do you guys think this was a spoiler? To be honest, I watched it like many time ago, so I don't even remember. I have really bad
Yeah.
memory,
I
but
think there
yeah.
are other parts of it too that are just as as key. But anyway, so I just thought that that was amazing because it was just a reminder of how many little things we miss
Yes.
that are really ginormous things.
And I think it's crazy that you actually, maybe by chance or whatever, but the fact that you decided to like, continue recording after that 1 year that was supposed to be, as you said at the beginning, that was, the excuse to like record your 40th year. And then you decided to keep recording. And then 2020, I was gonna say happened, but it's actually happening, and all these crazy things like COVID, like the Black Lives Matter movement, and all the things that are happening. You actually have all of these recorded, and I
Yes.
think it's incredible. I'm personally really looking forward to actually see the film and see all these experiences um, from your point of view, actually.
Yeah, and that's the thing, everyone's life film is happening all at once. But if we really key into it, we'll learn what we need to know to be better, to create the better world. Like
Hmm.
my whole thing now is be better for real. Not like, how do you feel? Oh, I'm better, but really be better. Be better. Take the action and take the action inside out. It's so easy to put a band-aid on how you feel, but that energy doesn't go anywhere until you face it head on and you work through it. So I learned that at 40. At 40, I had a 4-year-old who was looking at me how I used to look 36 years prior.
Hmm.
So the negative
Nice.
energy didn't go anywhere. It had been carried.
Yeah, that story, guys. I don't know how you feel about this, but that story really hit me. I think also I
Mhm.
wanted to ask you something. Maybe it's more technical. But like, how does this then? If when you launch this movie, How will it look like? It will actually be will it look like a traditional film? And like an hour and a half. Will it be like
Mhm.
portrait, and like how will it look like? How will it look, the experience? How will it be?
Right.
We have some delay, I think, with the connection.
Right. Well, basically, it is when we first thought about it, all you can think about is doing it traditionally. Like, so I was like, we're going to now, granted, I will say this, I'm taking 10-second clips at a time. So I knew it would be short format as far as timing, but I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking it's going to be on the screen and this and that. And so when we put together the first kind of version of it, and I saw it, it just didn't hit. Like I was like, well, what is this? I don't feel anything. And something was revealed to me later on, which caused the entire format of the film to shift. This entire immersive journaling experience is about closeness. So if you're on a screen, a big screen, that's really too far away. I need you right here. If I'm gonna read someone's journal, let's say someone said, here's my journal. I want you to take a look at what I've been writing. You wouldn't put it over there and look. You would probably get in your most comfortable place, get a nice drink, and then just be like, let me read this. And so we wanted the viewers to feel that closeness. So we switched it to the portrait mode format. It was just like I got this inclination to switch it. I said, let's put it in portrait mode, because when I watch my clips on Snapchat, they're in portrait and I can feel it. When we put it in portrait mode, that was it. Some people would say, well, you lose, part of what's in that scene, but you gain, I have your attention. I draw you into the journal experience. So.
I love it. And guys, if you're watching, and then maybe you have a business or you're running marketing for a company or something like that, what Michelle just said totally applies to business. I always like to find that connection to how can I, okay, this is like it looks like a very like off topic, but there's many things that we can take from this conversation and apply to our businesses. And I love that last bit that you said, that, when it's portrait and it's on your hands, it's close. It can even be like intimate sometimes, but like it's close. It's not like you're watching an ad on, your monitor, your laptop or whatever, but when it's on your hands and it's video and it's portrait and it's raw, there's some connection that you establish, or at least that's how I perceive it. There's some connection that you establish with that content.
That's important in business, that closeness, that connection. Along the journey, we had some employees of different businesses make comments and say, I wish my boss would wear them, because they don't understand how they come off when they approach me, or how it makes me feel, or different things like that. Like other business leaders have, you talk about a day in the life now of someone you're trying to help. Maybe you're a nonprofit and you're trying to help, or you have a product that, everyone wants to know the story behind it. In journalism, we called it the human element. So what is the human element? We have to, sometimes the numbers, all of that is great, but it's people who are behind the numbers. And to make that personal connection, you got to show what's personal about you. That's just how I roll and what I believe. And if we're looking to improve our leadership ability, I think it would be worth taking a look at a day in our lives. Maybe we
100%.
start a leadership challenge and say, let's take a look at a day in your life and see who smiled at you when you came in, who looked scared.
Yeah. And I also think,
all the things you would miss.
And I think it's I totally agree with what you just said, and I am super aligned with that. And I also think this can also be applied not just like in terms of culture internally in the business, but actually like in the relationship with the customers. I think precisely with everything that's going on now in 2020, COVID, we're like, as a society, as a human race, we're suffering, right? So I think in terms of like branding and marketing relationships, I think people right now, people just value more companies that care about them and that you can feel they care about you, rather than, companies that are like perfect and, super professional and, they don't screw up, because we're all screw up in a way or another right now.
Yep.
So we need to be able to relate to companies and understand that they're struggling, or if they're not, that they understand that we might be struggling. And I feel, being personal in terms of business right now is super important. And there you go. There's a way using video. No wonder why we really believe in VideoAsk, these kind of things, because honestly, generally, I think that this is way to go when you're like interacting with customers or even like other employees, just because of the things that you said.
Right. And I think one of your ads, even with what brought us to VideoAsk, was that it was kind of like a way for an independent creator to put their content in a packaging, in a case that would maintain the integrity. That would maintain the integrity of your content. So we were able to use VideoAsk and are using VideoAsk in that way to create these ongoing journals and to encourage others to create journals for them to reflect and adjust and really be better. You know what I mean?
Like
And I
that.
think what I was going to say is one of your ads says, isn't it like the best face is your face or something like that? And so people want to get as close to you as possible so they can kind of really feel your vibe when they're ready to do
Mm.
business.
The best interface is your face. No, I think that's the tagline
Yes,
that
the
you.
best interface is your face. And that's so true. So
Mhm.
true.
Okay, so Michelle, would it be fair to say if people want to get into immersive journaling and learn to, how can they actually start recording their life and things like that, would it make sense for them to reach out to you maybe on your social channels, and maybe if they have questions, can they
Sure.
reach out?
Yes, you sure can. My goal is to help produce more journals, to see
Mm.
more people take this look inside their life so they can really be better. You hit the nail on the head, Alex, when you said with COVID,
Mm-hmm.
with racial injustice, and with just the way the world is. There's
Yeah.
even a lot of political unrest in this year. Okay. We need a lot of healing. And so it starts with us. So if people want and encourage, if they want the information and the encouragement to do it, they already have a tool to put it in to kind of see it. We will be glad to help them. That
Cool.
is our whole goal.
Awesome, guys. So if you go here, we're gonna put your handles on YouTube. So
Okay.
if they want to find you on your social channels, they can go to L.Michelle Media on YouTube.
Yeah.
They can also check your website, the 2020lifefilm.com, and they can
Mm-hmm.
find you there. And I don't know, that was an awesome conversation. It went deep, and that's what I love of these kind of conversations. I love going deep.
Yeah.
It might seem off topic, but I think we all can learn from different places and take bits and slices of information that can add value to us and make our own journey both on the personal and the business. So I think we're
Right.
gonna wrap it up here. That's a great ending. I don't know if you have something else to add or that you want to say.
All I want to say is two words: be better. Watching this interview, if you take anything away, I feel this so strongly in my heart: be better, be a better leader, be a better spouse, be a better brother, be a better sister. Make all the money you can, sure, but be better, be better, be better. Like, that's all I could say. Literally, inside out, be better.
I love that. I think, guys, be better. I think I don't have anything else to add. I think that was the beautiful way to finish this conversation. Thanks so much, Michelle, for spending time with me today talking about this. And to you guys watching, thanks for staying here. Thanks for, if you made anything, thanks so much. I'm glad this added value to you. In this podcast, as you can see, we'll be bringing you more guests with interesting stories and things that you can learn from, people doing stuff with tech basically and trying to making, media, business, and everything more personal, so we can actually build more meaningful connections. So if you liked what we brought to you today, thanks, Michelle. Reach out to her if you want, and yeah, so thanks for watching basically. If you like what you saw, make sure you like hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel for more of these conversations coming, hit that bell button and all those things that will help us
Yes.
understand that you're supporting us. And please feel free to engage in conversations. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And that's it. I'm out of here. Bye bye. Thanks so much.